Literally yesterday, NVIDIA like randomly dropped this huge fucking news. DLSS 5 is going to be different. The general idea, they are using like AI neural technology to scan the images rendered on screen and enhance them with AI in motion. When I first saw it, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. The first example I ever saw was Grace from Resident Evil, kind of looking like normal Grace that we know and love on the left, and then like a strange AI imposter looking person.
I feel like we're at that part of this technology now where it's like, it's just come out. Everything's just like prototype version and people are like, this is useless. This doesn't have a point.
You just open the future to like basically a whole new level of fidelity.
For anyone skeptical about it, I'd say give it a bit, let it mature. We'll see what.
When we
comes
say
of
a
it.
bit, I mean like 4 years.
They have not been very forthcoming about a lot of the details. They've not shown base gameplay footage for PS5 and Xbox Series X. They kind of quietly announced a week before release, oh, by the way, it's going to have de novo. A PlayStation channel did finally show base level gameplay for PS5. And I'm like trying to figure out where is the best place to get this game. I've got to be honest, the footage they showed for PS5, while the frame rates look good, the image quality does not look good to me.
None. It kind of looks like Breath of the Wild, where it went like ultra simplistic to run on the Switch.
Yeah, it looks like they turned off a lot of shading and stuff, like global illumination or something.
Yeah, the PS5 Pro
Weird.
looks amazing. It's like there's depth, there's mixture of foliage, there's shading and lighting on everything. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I did hit record anyway, so let's just get started. This is welcome back to Content Farm with Peter and Clyde. As usual, hello, gentlemen. Hello. It's been a little while. Clyde's doing some funky moves. How's it been going?
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Considering.
I was telling Peter a minute ago, we've been getting crazy snow in Seattle. Like, we've been getting tons of snow. Like, and we don't normally get a lot of snow. So this week, like, all the Seattle drivers are like, whoa, there's like snow on the ground everywhere. So, yeah.
How often do you get bad snow?
We don't typically. I mean, we've only lived here for 4 years, but we've never had snow in the 4 years we've been here. We've only had like slush, and most of the Seattle people we've talked to have also said that they typically only get like a little bit of flurries or slush. But this year, like the snow showed up. We had snow for at least 3 or 4 days, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like rare in the UK. Well, where I live anyway. But when it comes, it's like really bad sometimes. Like last year or a couple of last Christmas or the Christmas before this most recent one, I had to take my girlfriend to the airport. My girlfriend at the time to the airport in January at some point after a Christmas stay, and oh my god, it was like many feet of snow probably, and we had to leave at like 4 a.m, so no one had like tended the roads yet, if that makes sense. And it was it was already like an hour drive, maybe a little bit more, like without bad conditions. It took us like 3 hours to get there because it was just it was mild.
How long does it take normally?
It was like an hour trip, or maybe like an hour and 10-minute trip. But but like for a good stretch of it, we were just going at like a snail's pace because it was snowing so hard that the actual snow itself made it like impossible to see in the car, if that makes sense. Because the headlights just hit the snow, which effectively made it like a fog with a view distance of like 10 feet. That was effectively what it was. If you were lucky, there was like another car somewhere, but it was so early in the morning and it was such a random day that there was like no other cars about. So if I just died, it wasn't going to get reported until like
no one. I didn't even see the road at that point.
Yeah, no one was going to come looking for me, and you couldn't see the road. You couldn't like if you were going to go near the edge of the road, you just wouldn't know because there was no, you couldn't see the road lines because the road was covered in snow, and you couldn't see any distance because of the actual snow itself. So I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. We just drove really slowly. It took like between 2 and 3 hours to get there and did it. Oh my god, that was the worst snow we've ever had near me, and that was last Christmas.
Damn.
Peter, do you typically get snow?
In Phoenix, I don't know. Well, in my experience, I've never seen snow in Phoenix.
Wow.
It's frosted one day. I remember there was a layer of frost and we all freaked out.
Wow.
But apparently, if you go up north to like Flagstaff, it snows up there. So for being a desert state, we actually do have forests and snow, and
That's
it
cool.
is weird. But yeah, not in Phoenix. It's it's like been in the 60s, 70s here. It's
what is that in what is that in Celsius?
No,
I never remember. No one ever remembers.
No,
in the UK, tell you. We deal in Celsius.
What's body temperature, like 37?
Yeah.
So
that's how he's working it out. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like 30 is pretty hot for us. If we get 30, we start to like panic a little bit.
Okay.
Especially since
the hottest. Like, sorry, I guarantee you the hottest temperatures in Arizona would blow your brain, Sean. Like it gets broilingly hot where Peter lives. I have to imagine. Like, what is the hottest it gets in Fahrenheit there, Peter?
I seen it hit like 115, 117.
Okay, yeah, like in Celsius, Sean, that would melt your brain. I have to look it up. I have to convert that.
Is that like between 40 and 50, like late 40s?
I think that might be like 45 or something like that.
It's 46.1.
My God.
46.1. Yeah. No. 46 degrees. Have you ever seen it get 46 degrees, Sean?
No, I've never seen. Ridiculous. I think the highest I've ever seen where I live is 36, and I was in work that day as well. It was fucking horrible.
Wow.
Like, yeah, we really can't handle it. We get overwhelmed really quickly.
That's with humidity though. You guys have high humidity there. That's
I guess nasty. So. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we have like very low humidity. So
it's a little bit more. It feels a little bit more manageable. Yeah, feels a bit fresh.
Yeah, so like 90 degrees up. I don't know what that'd be like 35.
Yeah,
30.
Based on what you just said,
yeah. Up north, where it's or even in the southeast, like Florida or okay, Katie.
Oh my
Florida
God,
or Louisiana.
You are getting smothered.
Yeah, hey Katie, how's it going, buddy? Yeah,
I want to be the star.
This is the new character for Rivals, Black Cat.
Oh yeah, Black Cat and also Rivals. Good game news.
Yep, that's the relevancy.
I saw that on Twitter like 5 minutes ago. Big news. Well, should we speak about some games?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so just to kind of lay out what you might hear today, I want to talk about Resident Evil Requiem at some point because that came out and I played it, obviously. Yesterday there was this huge DLSS 5 thing when the video announced like the next upgrade for DLSS, which is really crazy and really weird. We'll definitely talk about that for a while because there's a lot to be said. Also, Crimson Desert is due to come out on. Is it now? It's due to come out on Thursday. I don't know whether that's going to turn out to be Thursday or Friday for me. I have no idea how that works, but it's really close, and because it's gotten so close, there's a lot of controversy over what they're showing and what they're not showing. Mainly based console gameplay, and some other stuff along with that. Yeah, those are the big major things we're going to be talking about today. So stick around for those. Is there any in particular we want to talk about first? Clyde, do you want to just go crazy on Crimson Desert? It's first on the list anyway, so.
We could probably knock it out pretty quickly because there's not. I mean, it is frustrating as a situation has been. I think for some casual fans, there's not a whole lot to talk. I mean, basically the TLDR is that Crimson Desert is a pretty anticipated game from Pearl Abyss, the people who made Black Desert Online. This is their first single player game, a huge AAA scale single player game, and they have not been very forthcoming about a lot of the details of their game. They've not shown base gameplay footage for PS5 and Xbox Series X. They kind of quietly announced a week before release. Oh, by the way, it's going to have de novo. They didn't bother announcing.
You mentioned that. What is that? Is that like the? Oh, I forget what it is. Is it like a anti-pirating tag that ruins performance?
It is.
It is really.
It is. Okay. And it doesn't affect high-end rigs, but it does affect low to mid-range rigs because it chews their CPUs. Basically, it has to constantly verify the game is legitimate. So the people that are most impacted are people that have low to mid-range CPUs. People that have high-end rigs won't even notice a difference. At least most game optimization doesn't notice a difference. But it really hurts people that don't have top of the line PCs. So. And the fact that they didn't even like publicly announce it, they just updated their Steam listing quietly to be like, oh, by the way, now it has de novo. And people are like, dude, you couldn't have even tweeted this. Like, you couldn't have even like talked about this like months out. Like, people are not happy about that. But, Sean and I have been talking, Peter and I have been talking. the a PlayStation channel did finally show early this morning. They showed off base level gameplay for PS5, and I watched it. I'm personally like I'm on the fence of getting it because I have a low to mid range computer, and we've also got a Series X and a PS5 at home, and I'm like trying to figure out where is the best place to get this game if I'm going to end up getting it. And I've got to be honest, like the footage they showed for PS5, while the frame rates look good, the image quality does not look good to me. Like I went back to the PS5 Pro footage and the PC footage, and those look noticeably clearer. I'll actually drop some images in our Discord channel, and you can throw them up on the screen if you want.
Yes.
But like I think anybody with a pair of eyeballs will look at the PS5 footage and go, that kind of looks blurry AF, and the PS5 Pro and the PC high-end PC footage looks really clear and really nice. And I don't know. I just kind of wish they were a little more forthcoming about these details because they've sold a lot of pre-orders. They've been selling deluxe editions and pre-order bonuses. So that's basically all the drama. Them stealth adding de novo and just kind of their reluctance to show off, footage of the base consoles.
Yeah, it is. Can either of you ever think of a time that like a big hyped game hadn't shown base console gameplay like until 2 days before the game comes out, or any sort of time frame like that?
Right.
That's ridiculous to me. I feel like you normally get a gameplay trailer which says like, recorded on PS5 or recorded on Series X, like way in advance, because you have to, especially if you want to try and break in pre-orders.
Oh my god, look at that footage, Clyde. That looks nothing like the other videos.
Right. One of these is PS5 and one of these is PS5 Pro.
Oh, yeah.
And
what the fuck?
I think it's clear which one is the PS5 Pro one. I'll let y'all.
Is this real?
This is real, yeah, and that's not YouTube downsampling it. That's like I juiced my YouTube stream to 4K and put them next to each other. The PS5 one looks way blurrier, and it does not look nearly as good as the PS5 Pro and the high-end PC ones. Like, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people disappointed on launch day. I think a lot of people are going to boot this up.
It's
be
so
like,
weird.
What the hell?
It's like, look at the grass and the foliage. Is that YouTube or is that just the game?
No, that is definitely the game. Like I said, I juiced it to 4K.
Yeah, you can tell by the grass that it can't be YouTube anyway. It's
just look at the color. Like, look how lime it is, and like there's look for the shadows for the grass. There's like
none.
It kind of looks like Breath of the Wild, where it went like ultra simplistic to run on the Switch.
Yeah.
It sort of looks like that.
Yeah, it looks like they turned off a lot of shading and stuff, like global illumination or something.
That's so weird.
The PS5 Pro looks amazing. It's like there's depth, there's mixture of foliage, there's shading and lighting on everything. I think this is a situation where they've gone to great lengths to not show base gameplay. And even now, the only base gameplay that it exists is from this one random Japanese PlayStation channel with comments turned off. And it's like, it's not even a great look sketchy. At it.
Huh.
I'm like, man, 24 or 48 hours before release, this is the best y'all could show. My prediction is, I don't think this is going to be Cyberpunk 2077 refund level bad. I will say that. I don't think this is that bad, but I do think there's going to be a lot of people who boot this up on base PS5 or Xbox Series X and look at this and go, what the hell? This is not what I paid for. And I think there's going to be some pre-orders. I think there are some refunds. I think there will be some people that are unhappy about it, but we will wait and see. The jury's out on it, but I don't know. I don't like de novo, but it might have to go with PC just because this does not look good on base consoles.
I am curious how it would run on a mid to low end PC. I've watched like the Digital Foundry videos, but I'm under the impression they obviously played that on very high end PCs.
Right.
So is there any info? Obviously we can't check right now, but is there any info on there about how it will run on like a PC that's like 4 years old?
They have put stats out, like they have like their target
requirements and stuff.
Right, they did, and they weren't unreasonable if I remember correctly.
They didn't seem too wild, no.
That like the numbers look great. Even the numbers for the PS5 look great, but the problem is when you actually look at the footage, they nerf the draw distance, they nerf the lighting, they nerf the textures, and that's what causes the experience to be way worse. And I'm that's how blurry that mess looks on PS5 on a small screen. I cannot imagine how blurry it's going to look blown up to like a big TV screen people have at home.
Exactly, because that was kind of the plan. Because with games like this, like controller games, controller graphical, not twitchy games, I really prefer to play those on console because of big TV and because of just like not worrying about performance and things like that, not sitting at my desk, not doing like normal PC stuff, fucking around with settings. So I prefer to play those kind of games on console. But if it's gonna look like that, then that makes me feel like I can't, because I wouldn't accept that level of like visual fidelity when there's there's so much better, there's so many better ways to play it, which means I kind of feel like I have to play it on PC now, which is a shame. Unless you want to buy a PS5 Pro, which I'm not.
I'm team PC on this as well. Maybe for mods as well, that could be great. And the goon maxing, the inevitable goon maxing. I mean, right now, I just don't trust the footage I've seen for PS5. Also, I was going to say, I know we talk about, we glaze Steam a lot on here. Steam's refund policy is pretty legit. They've got a 2-hour refund, so it's like if I run it and it runs like crap, I got 2 hours to like, hit the refund button. So, it's pretty good. But yeah, that was mostly what the tea is on Crimson Desert. I'm sure next week or when we talk next, there will be tons to say about this and people will have tons of reactions. But for now, I am encouraging all to exercise caution.
Don't pre-order. Don't pre-order this game anyway. It's just terrible practice to pre-order games. Just please do not. Yeah. Also, they haven't really said much about. I think the frame rate on base PS5 they said will like aim for 60, but run at like 50 to 40, which is also just bad. Especially when it looks like that. That's also just bad. Yeah. Like if you're gonna make it look like that, at least give me like a really smooth 60. At least that still wouldn't be good enough, but at least do that. But the video that they released, is
let me check.
Anyway.
2026 consoles still can't push 60 frames for video.
Well, games. They can. That's the thing. They can, and they do quite a lot. Like I've been playing quite a lot of games on. Like I played Resident Evil. Not any of the most recent. I think I played Resident Evil 4 on it like a year back. I replayed it recently, but first time I played that was on PS5, and that game's like a smooth 60, and that game looks incredible, and it looks like a natural, like a normal 4K. I know it's not a normal 4K, but it looked really great. Like Kingdom Come 2 is a fairly solid 60 on performance mode on PS5. Like they're definitely capable of doing it. It's just maybe
I will just say
maybe we're getting to the point where games can't do it anymore. Maybe.
Last thing. Yeah, consoles. Sorry, especially modern gen consoles. Last thing I'll say on this is that like this, and this is the thing that I believe at the core of me, which is that the developers have been saying since day one, bro, it's gonna run just perfectly fine. Let us cook. You wouldn't believe us even if we showed you the footage. Like this is the thing. I believe if the game actually ran really well and looked really good, they would just show that. Like they would just show it. What kind of statement is that?
If we showed you, you wouldn't believe us. Doesn't that just mean you should show us then, because it would be really great marketing?
Dude, their marketing guy, Will J. Powers, dude, his tweets are ridiculous. He constantly is saying shit like, you wouldn't believe us. It's crazy. People have already been like, bro, if you're lying, we're going to turn you into a meme forever. Like it is going to be bad. So
well, there you go. He's immortalized.
Yeah, he may become a meme, but I'm hopeful for the game. It's probably going to look way better on PC than it will on consoles, certainly on base consoles. But we'll report back. But that was all I had on Crimson Desert. I'm nervously optimistic, hopeful. I'm hopeful, but I am a little bit nervous.
Yeah, it doesn't kill the hype of the game, because we have us three at least have the PC option, but it does. It is a little bit frustrating that I can't just sit back and play on PS5, because that's what I was hoping to do, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And with that,
if they felt good about it, man, they'd let Digital Foundry let it rip. But they're no, Digital Foundry, you've got to wait until the day of to release your analysis. That's a red flag. Here, hold my red flag, bro.
That's a black flag. That's a skull and crossbones flag.
That's not a good
basically flag. Confirmation that this is gonna put some people off.
Still pre-order. What can you do?
Yep.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah. Sorry, we can go on to the next thing. Let's go on to the next thing.
By the time we record next time, that game will be out, and one of us at least will have probably played it. So. Yeah, we'll have.
Would you really get it on the console, even though you got a
I would buy it on
pretty good computer now?
No, I would buy it on PC. Oh, you mean if it was a great PS5 port, I would rather play that on PS5 because of the kind of game it is. Yeah, because for the games like that, I want to be on the couch or in bed, on a massive TV on my controller, which is just more convenient on the PS5. That's the only reason I would have done that. But having seen all the sketchiness around the PS5 version. I am not inclined to do that. I am inclined to buy it on PC.
Gotcha.
But yeah, okay, check back on that next time. May I talk briefly about Resident Evil Requiem?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I forget which one. I know, Peter, you've played a few, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Clyde, no.
I'm a certified weenie. I'm scared of horror games. I'm scared.
I remember.
Like, I've got to put my hood up and be like, I'm scared. I don't want to see this. No, but how is Resident Evil?
Calling a Resident Evil a horror game.
It is nowadays. It is nowadays.
I mean, if you only played 7, I'd be like, okay, I understand it. But like any other title, and it'd be like,
you'd be even 8 has a couple of scary parts, but it's also largely action. I'd say they fit survival horror. I mean, that's literally the definition of what those games are. I think they were probably the first big survival horror game. But yeah, we're probably desensitized to it, Peter. But trust me, people get fucking scared of this stuff. Like, I have a couple of friends in real life who are like too scared to play it as well, like any of them. But yeah, on that topic, Clyde, you would struggle with this one because Resident Evil 9 at times is actually very scary. At least for someone who is not already desensitized. I wasn't really scared, but because I've kind of played 7 and 8 a couple of times at least, and other horror games, but I can acknowledge that some of the stuff that happens in 9 is probably fairly scary to anyone who doesn't like it.
Is it like jump scares, or is it like spooky ambiance, or they slow burn to creepy situations? Like how in the way would it induce my fear response?
No jump scares. It's just the game has in this first half. So hang on, let me lay out the board. So Resident Evil Requiem is split between 2 main protagonists. I won't do story spoilers just because there's not like I don't really need to. I don't plan to talk about the story anyway. I mean, I doubt anyone listening actually cares, but I'm just not going to because there's not much to say about the story. But you play
Resident Evil has a story?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this game as well, to be honest. The story is a little bit hit and miss in my opinion, but it wasn't bad enough to like ruin the game or anything.
Doesn't really need one, honestly.
No, it doesn't. So you play as 2 protagonists, Grace Ashcroft, who is an FBI agent who you start the game out as, and she takes the main brunt of the first half of the game in terms of being playable. And she is the Resident Evil 7/Resident Evil 8 part of the game. So when you play as her, she is not very capable in terms of these supernatural Resident Evil monsters and zombies and shit. This is very new. She's massively thrown in the deep end, so she's very afraid. She's scared and she's shaky, and she also has extremely limited resources because she isn't prepared for any of this. So that's why
Ashcroft. That sounds familiar.
It's a character from Code Veronica. No, Resident Evil Outbreak. It's not a character. It's the daughter of a character from Resident Evil Outbreak called Alyssa Ashcroft.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
That's what Nathan at work told me anyway. I haven't played that game, nor do I know who that is.
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah. So that's why I say she's the horror protagonist, because she actually is extremely limited in resources to the point where the zombies are kind of way more threatening and way more intimidating because they will kill you easier, and they're also hard to take out because you're not very equipped. And when you're playing as Grace, you have a stalker enemy called the Girl, who is like the like the Mr. X or the Lady D or the Lady
Hunk.
D. Not Hunk. That's a different guy.
that was
the gas mask guy.
The gas mask guy. Yeah. I
he's cool.
get him and what's his face mixed up.
Yeah, he may or may not be in this game as well. Anyway, yeah, Grace Ashcroft. She has a stalker enemy called the Girl, who is like, I don't know if either of you remember back to the early trailers, but it's this huge, like 10-foot tall, freaky, spiny zombie girl who is the kind of stalker enemy that is not killable in, at least not until a scripted sequence. So you have to run away. She can be dissuaded by lights, so she won't come into areas where there's strong electrical lightning because it burns her skin off. So you have to kind of play around that. in order to escape, but at the same time there are elements like against you trying to prevent that from happening sometimes, so it's pretty intense. So yeah, Grace has a stalker enemy. It's quite scary sometimes. And then the other character you play on, as is witnessed behind Peter's head, is Leon Kennedy. He's been overdue a game for a little while because obviously he was a frequent character. He was in 246, I believe, but then Resident Evil 7 and 8 took like a new cast. But although Chris Redfield did appear in 7 and 8. So Leon was overdue for a little bit, so I think a lot of people predicted he was going to be in this one, even before it was announced. And yeah, he's in this one, and he's the second playable character, and he takes up the second half of the game for the vast majority. There is little parts where you play as the other one in either half, but the vast majority of the playthrough in either half is with the corresponding person. So Leon takes up the second half, and the Leon half of the game is very similar to Resident Evil 4. At least that's probably the closest thing I can put it, where you are parrying, you have a huge arsenal of weapons to your advantage, and you actually get a little bracelet, electronic bracelet thing that counts points when you kill zombies, and then you go and spend those points at a shop to buy guns and attachments. And the game has kind of like a COD Modern Warfare like attachment menu with like the 3D guns and shit. Yeah, and he has it's ridiculous. It's really cool. He has like gory kill animations, tons of them. He also has this hatchet. I don't know when he switched from knives to hatchets, but I don't know if you remember in Resident Evil 4, you had to like craft knives and repair them to use it to like stab people and to defend yourself. But in this game, Leon's adopted this kind of like, it looks kind of like a throwing axe from COD, but it's that's his like primary melee weapon, and it doesn't get destroyed. You just have to sharpen it every few times you use it, so it's permanent. And that is involved in a lot of really cool kill animations. You can also just spin kick people, like Resident Evil 4. You spin kick the fuck out of people. That's like the main method of meleeing enemies.
You suplex them.
You can't suplex. The suplex has been replaced. The suplex has been replaced by like the game kind of has like environmental kill animations, if that makes sense. Like if you're near walls or near desks and stuff, you'll like kick, curb stomp people and shit. Yeah. So it makes for a really interesting dynamic where Grace is just like barely surviving by the skin of her teeth. But then you'll play as Leon for like 5 minutes, and let's say you've been playing because near the start of the game you play as Grace for like a couple of hours in this huge building, and because Leon is like occupied, like taken hostage somewhere doing something else, and you're really struggling. You're there for a couple of hours. You finally do everything. You get out, and then you play as Leon straight after, who breaks himself free, and then you go through the same place, but just kill everything. Like in a space of like 10 minutes. It's incredibly satisfying. It makes this really satisfying dynamic where you feel the struggle, if that makes sense. You feel the struggle, and then you get the satisfying reward of just like mowing everything down. That happens a couple of times in the game.
Very cool.
Yeah. Sorry, my throat got dry.
You're totally fine. I was thinking as you were talking, these sound like two totally different games. Like it sounds like when you're playing as the girl, you're basically playing Slender Man, run away from monsters, and when you're playing as Leon, you're like running, gunning. It sounds like two totally different games in one game.
It is. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, I guess, because Grace can, to some degree, defend herself. It's also quite funny because Leon has this huge, like 2-foot-long hand cannon called Requiem, name of the game, obviously. And at the beginning of the game, when he first meets Grace, they're kind of separated by like a gate that gets slammed down between them both. And Leon decides to hand her this gun, which is so big that she almost like falls over when she grabs it. It's really funny, and it's become kind of a meme, the fact that he gave this like 5'8", like this 5'8" skinny blonde girl this gun that's like half the size of her body. Is a really funny meme. But it makes for great gameplay because it's a weapon that can basically one-shot with infinite penetration, and you can craft ammo and find ammo for it, but it's really rare. But but Grace has to use it kind of as like extremely tactically, because you can't get much ammo for it. But if you're smart with it, you can kill like 5 zombies in one bullet, which is a really big deal because killing one zombie as Grace is kind of tough. It's it's one of them games where the zombies will take like 5 headshots to kill, and then sometimes you have to push them over, or sometimes they'll get back up for a second try, the zombies. So yeah, it's extremely frustrating trying to kill them sometimes. So it makes her a really cool dynamic that Leon hands her this absolute fucking beast of a gun, which you can use to get her out of tricky situations. It's also they added some pretty interesting detail that I haven't really seen in Resident Evil before, where the zombies all have like a personality, like every single one of them. It's really it's really weird. Like, for example, one of the first ones you see as Grace is this chef who's huge. He's probably like 8 foot and he's massive. But he's always just like, all the zombies have loads of voice lines and they're always walking around talking about something. Like they're still slightly conscious, if that makes sense. Like a very small part of them. So, for example, there's a maid and she's like, even in her zombie form, she's like scrubbing blood into the mirror as if she's trying to clean it. And then at some point, she's like scrubbing the floor as well. And if she catches you, she even like scrubs your face off. That's like the kill animation. Yeah. And the chef is just running around like meat, and he's like swinging around this big cleaver. But they all have slightly different gameplay dynamics. Like one of them is attached to a what do you call it? Like a drip. But he has like like a drip stand tied to him because his drip's still plugged in. So he's like dragging it around with him and he swings it around to hit you with. But they're all like canon people with some like a lot of notes are written about them, and they all have like certain gameplay mechanics linked to them. Like one of them is obsessed with leaving with like light switches, and if you fuck with the light switches, he'll go over and turn, like if you turn them off, he'll go over to them and turn them back on, etc. So you can use that to kind of manipulate where he's standing. Yeah, really interesting. I really like that. What you mentioned, Clyde, about being 2 very different games is actually where one of my first issues comes in, because while it's really great on first playthrough, for the experience of like, just seeing Grace's story and playing through the really intense Grace parts and pushing through it, and then having the satisfying Leon combat. On replay, though, it's kind of tough. And as soon as I finished, I decided to go into a second playthrough, and I was immediately hit with this problem because I think after finishing a first playthrough, you're going to land in one of 2 camps. You're going to be in the camp that liked the Grace stuff more, or you're going to be in the camp that liked the Leon stuff more, which is the camp that I landed in. Which means that upon replay, I quickly realized that I was going to have to play through a lot of the Grace stuff to get back to the Leon stuff. And then I kind of got myself thinking, well, is it even worth it? Because the game's not that long anyway. I think in terms of actual time playing the game, my first playthrough was like 7 hours, 30 minutes, maybe 8 hours.
Whoa, that is pretty short.
It is, but to be fair, the game is harsh on how it counts time. So, for example, if you die, it like wipes the time that you spent alive.
Okay.
And it also doesn't count being paused or anything like that. So on Steam, it was like 11 hours. On Steam, it was like 11 hours when I finished my playthrough. But yeah, it really made me think: is it worth playing through this Grace stuff to get? Because it's a lot. It's probably like 3 or 4 hours if I'm playing it. Trying to go for completionist stuff. It's a long time. So that was the first real issue I ran into with the game. And so the way I solved this issue was I just went and played 4 Remake instead. And had a great time. Because that's basically the same as the Leon segments. It's very similar in terms of how it feels. So
all right.
Yeah, I got around the issue that way by playing a different game.
It's pretty rare that I finish a Yeah, it's pretty rare that I finish a game and I immediately want to jump into that game again. Like that's
exactly pretty... yeah. Unless it's really? Like a roguelike or something, and you're supposed to do that.
Yep.
But speaking of which, I was playing Slay the Spire 2 with some friends.
Oh, my friends like that game.
It's a pretty awesome game, man. That game's pretty fun. If you told me like a couple months ago I'd be playing a card-based roguelite and enjoying it, I'd be like, what?
Oh, it's a card game?
But it's card based, so you get a deck and you add to it and you pull from it and you upgrade cards and swap them out and some enemies will put negative cards in your deck, so like as a status effect they'll give you bad cards and then you'll have to deal with them by having a card in your hand that's like oh, if you don't get rid of it, you'll take damage or something, or it just does nothing and it just fills your hand with useless crap. Like a bunch of cool stuff.
Sounds quite fun, actually.
People love that game. People freaking love Slay the Spire. Can I ask Peter? I know this is like one of those kill your darling situations, but if I only had time to play one, either Slay the Spire 2 or Mugenics, which would you guide me towards?
I know his answer.
I mean, what do you like more? I remember someone asked me. They didn't play a lot of strategy games. Like, would you recommend Mugenics? Like, no, it's a hard game. That's not a good very first strategy game.
It's so hard.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult, and like it's one of those games where like they really expect you to struggle in the beginning, and they want you to get the upgrades and to do the slow climb to get to where you want.
Gotcha.
I feel like Slay the Spire is the same. I'd even say worse because like they do not want you to beat it on the first run. They want you to fail, and they want you to get better at it and unlock stuff, get better characters. Which is cool because like if you just beat it every time, then there's no challenge.
Oh right.
But like I'd ask them, do they like kind of turn-based like grid strategy games, or are they good with like classic JRPG style like because I'd say Slay the Spire kind of does the more classic JRPG, and it's much easier to get into. Like it's very upfront, whereas Mugenics has a bunch of like it looks simple, but there's a lot of interactions. There's a lot of synergies that you just won't click until you've played it a while.
Gotcha. Did you finish Mugenics, or is that one still on your back burner?
I'm at like 35% on it.
Oh dang.
Yeah. It's tough, man. But
oh yeah. I mean,
I pick at it, but it's fun. It's one of those great games that I just leave running in the background when I'm busy doing something, I'm working, and I'll just like do a couple rounds or a couple moves or something, and I'll just go back to it or something.
Ed McMillan, he makes brutally difficult games. Meat Boy is challenging. Isaac is challenging. He makes brutally difficult games. He does not make easy games. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And I know some people don't like that. And there's no difficulty slider for either of those games. It just is, And so that's why I say, if you hate those games where you feel like you're slamming your head on a table, then don't bother with it. So, but yeah, what's cool about Slay the Spire is it's co-op. I played with 3 of my friends.
It's 4-player.
And we had a party of 4. Yeah. And it was pretty awesome, man. Like that's great. You try to coordinate your attacks and stuff, and the thing is, like, it doesn't become like a dungeon party where the enemies will strike one of your characters. No, it's like when they attack, you all get hit for the same attack. So you all have to choose whether you're blocking or you're taking the damage. So there's no like split, there's no tank, there's no healer. You're all it's almost like you're all playing solo together, but at the same time, you're coordinating your debuffs and like focusing units and stuff like that. So very cool, very, very well made. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
I'll probably lean towards Mugenics, but I will go in knowing that it's going to take a lot of like contextual knowledge and learning to get the hang of it. But it does seem like the more random game. It seems more kind of wild. Whereas I feel like I know what I'm getting with Slay the Spire.
Yeah, it's very wacky. Very silly. Very RNG dependent. Depending on your kitty's abilities and stuff. You have some control with the breeding aspect of it, but like early in the game, you really don't have as much tools to do it. Whereas later in the game, it becomes easier, and like you can start crafting, like more specific abilities and stats and stuff. Whereas in the beginning, you're just rolling the dice and going, okay, how's this gonna work?
Yeah.
And Slay the Spire, it just straight up gives you a deck. Like here's your deck. You always start out with the same deck with each character, but then as you go on, then you evolve the deck during the gameplay. Versus in Mugenics, like I guess they start you with a couple, but even the starting abilities are random. So, kind of similar parts of the games, but very different.
Nah, it's seriously hard. Me and Peter were messaging the other day about how you can have in Mugenics, you can have like you can think you have the most OP and broken cats of all time.
Yep.
Which has happened to me like a handful of times, and then you will for like a few battles, and then something will just directly counter you. So something will either directly counter you, or you'll just get fucked up by someone, like just randomly.
Yeah,
it's so difficult.
And
you really never have control
and they
of
put it in there on purpose too. You'll have like this. Oh, this is amazing. I can like kill bosses in one turn with this guy. This is so good. I'm gonna run to the end of this game. And then you get that one boss where it's like, oh, don't do this or you die immediately. And then you die immediately. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Or like you're great at single target damage, and then now you have to fight like 20 different guys with like 2 life points each, and now you're just fucked because you just don't have a way to. It's great they throw all the different, and the bosses are different for each area. They're not always the same. They
change.
Have like different mini bosses, different end bosses. So you can be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna plan for this boss that wrecked me last time. I'm gonna try to counter his ability, and then boom, you got a different boss, and it's like, oh shit.
This was actually like after a few runs, I had this ability that I hadn't seen before, where you hit enemies, but it also gives them thorns. So I assume you're meant to use it on your teammates, if that makes sense. But I didn't.
What?
It gives them thorns, like.
Yeah.
The buff where when you get hit, you damage whoever hit you. So I was unknowingly giving it to an enemy a lot.
Uh-huh.
to the point where they had like 15 stacks. It was obviously shit. Like a boss or something. Yeah, and then I went and hit it with like my tank, and they just died instantly. And I couldn't figure out what I did wrong until I actually read the game properly. Because it wasn't like it did 1 damage, but it was like, a bonus move. So I was like, okay, I'm just doing 1 damage. I'll just keep using it. I didn't realize that the symbol that I was seeing above their head was thorns until it did 15 damage to me.
Yeah, I had this one ability that was like, bring all bodies back to life.
All bodies?
Restore them to 100% life, and remove all status effects. I'm like, wow, that's great. If my team dies, I'll do this. And I was at a boss. She was the last one alive. Boom, I do it, and all bodies come back. All the boss's mobs came back. The boss had full life. Everyone had full life. I'm like,
the game is very literal. It's very literal. There's a few abilities like that where it's like, there was one that I did where it's like you deal 2 damage to everyone on the field, and my brain was just like, oh enemies. No, it means everyone.
No, everyone. Yeah. And when it says like respawn on a random body on a field and come back to life, it's like even your own teammates.
Yeah.
So. There's a lot of stuff like that kind of works both ways. It can work on the enemy, it can work on you. Like charm. Charm can work on enemy. You can charm your own teammate, which sounds stupid.
What does that do?
But it basically turns them into AI controlled for a turn.
Oh my god.
I thought, it can be very inconvenient, and I thought it was useless. But then I remember there was a boss fight. And I had an absolutely broken character who was just deleting, he was a hunter who was just walloping people. He had like this ability that had 100% crit chance, and I could spam it, and I could just do insane damage. And he gets charmed, and he just deletes my own team. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe.
It's a funny sandbox game for that reason. Like everything is very literal.
I feel like, and this is probably a really weird comparison, but Baba Is You is one of those games where it's like deep down it's extremely simple. It's just like but like the more you think about it, the more things kind of like fit into each other and kind of work off each other. It's very like that. Like each independent element is understandable, but like trying to keep them all in your mind at once is like juggling like 20 different items, and it's challenging at the same time as rewarding when you get it right. And it feels so great to like figure something out. It's like, oh, this ability feels here, and then this one goes like that, and then holy shit, wow, all these shitty abilities I thought were terrible actually are like make this build viable. And it's really cool. And I feel like that's the part of the game that makes me feel like I can see how long they worked on it and how much love went into it. And there's a lot of intentional stuff and stuff that looks just silly and random. But it's like, you'll see a cat pissing on the floor making a puddle sounds useless. But
but
hey,
athletes' faults.
Good God. Baba is You is a great example because Baba is You seems so simple. It's one of those games that looks so simple, and you're like, this is impossible. There's no way to solve this with the variables I have access to. But then you just keep playing around and you tinker and you realize, oh, this can do that. And Baba is You is a really cool aha game. It is a game that gives you that aha moment over and over again.
I feel like it gives me that when I'm playing that game, and that's what awesome. I really like about it.
Yeah, one of the strongest things I had going on that this probably is nothing compared to anyone who's played the game quite a lot. I probably played it for like 15 hours, so not that much. Was like the hunter. I had an ability that lets you shoot 5 arrows, but half of them miss. But then I also had an ability where all of my ranged attacks are guaranteed to hit, and I also had an ability where they were all guaranteed to crit. So I was shooting 5 arrows that were all just doing a ton of damage, and I thought I was winning the game. Like I thought I was going to go so far, but obviously something eventually just fucking caught me off as it goes.
I had an absolutely similar one like that. It was like 70% chance to miss, but it did massive damage.
Yeah.
And then the 100% crit chance with the item that lets me always hit.
Yeah.
And then I was just doing massive damage. It was great. And then you have like the ability that when you get a kill, you get mana back.
Yeah.
And you have an ability that like does like 1 damage to any unit on the screen. So you just pick off the little tiny units everywhere.
And then you could just roll the team.
Tons of mana. And they just dump it, like great, that feels so rewarding when you figure that stuff out.
It does.
And it's great just to go from like starting the game and struggling and being like, I'm going to die. I'm not going to make it to the end. And then, pulling through and being like, I can do this. We can do this. We got this.
Yeah. Yeah. The game does lend to a lot of clutch moments as well, because you can really, like, in the same way that you can lose really quickly, you can also win really quickly from a bad situation.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a good cleric. A good cleric build is necessary, in my opinion. I always play with the cleric. Someone is always on cleric on mine.
I thought cleric was required, and then I got the necromancer. And
I don't have that.
This might be, yeah. There's a lot of different classes you unlock later.
Yes, I saw there was a lot that I haven't unlocked yet, and I was like,
yeah. I thought I had a few, and then I saw a list. I'm like, oh, I don't have, quite a few of those. So that's cool.
Welcome back, Sean.
Hi, thanks. Was that the Clyde surprise? Wait, let's save the Clyde surprise. The Clyde surprise.
Absolutely not. No,
okay.
No. So my Clyde surprise is political in nature and is gonna blow y'all's brains.
Oh my God, it's Clyde for president.
That's what it is.
Basically, let's
he's
go.
Running. He's running. Let's get the
Let's
votes.
go.
I may not be brave enough to freaking play Resident Evil, but I'll throw my name on a ballot. No, I would never do that. But yeah, if y'all are cool, I'll just trauma dump my surprise right now.
Well,
y'all want to hear it?
I wanted to say one more thing first, and it was just on Resident Evil Requiem, but not related to the game itself. Resident Evil Requiem runs fucking unbelievable, and it had to be mentioned because I know we like to get technical sometimes on the podcast. So basically, my friends had raved about this RE engine before, but I'd never properly played one on PC before until now. And oh my God. So on my PC, which is high end, I admit, but still, this is unusual. 1440p. So I put FSR, which is DLSS, not the new stupid one, the current DLSS.
It's AMD's.
Right.
Yeah.
It's AMD's upscaling.
Yeah, FSR on quality, which is the highest, the highest quality version. I had the whole game on max settings with ray tracing on maximum traciness, maximum amount of rays. And I never dropped below 150 FPS for the whole game. It was unbelievable. Nice. I couldn't believe it. And then out of curiosity, I put frame gen on, like 250 FPS. And because the frame rate was so high, the input delay on frame gen wasn't even noticeable. So I was playing like that for a while as well. And I was like, at some point I thought to myself, holy shit, I'm getting like the same frames as Minecraft. Like literally, I'm getting Minecraft frames on this unbelievably good looking 2026 release. And just wow. I just have to give credit where credit's due, on that, because oh my God, it's a really, really good looking game. And I don't think, to my knowledge, I've ever played a game with like max ray tracing on. And just seeing that at such high frame rate was unbelievable. I just had to mention that. That was all. Clyde, do you want a Clyde surprise us?
Whoa, that sounds way too suggestive. I'm not giving anyone a Clyde surprise. Let's make that one thing clear. No, actually, it's kind of it's kind of a loop back. Ever since you showed us Couch to 5K, I've been doing walks like every other day, every other week, or every a couple times a week. We've got a like circuit in our neighborhood, and I've been building up my stamina. But the reason I wanted to kind of tell y'all about the Couch to 5K is that I found an event that I am so freaking excited for that I'm going to be participating in April. In April, there's a group of about 100 of us that are going to be we're going to be marching from Philadelphia all the way to the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And it's a 160-mile march. And while I'm doing my Couch to 5K, I'm thinking about that march. It's 160 miles. It's about a week and a half. It's called the We Are America March. So if anybody wants to look it up, you're welcome to. But there's about 100 of us that are going. Yes, it is a week and a half. It is a full-on 160-mile march. We're marching basically in support of the Constitution, immigrant rights in this country, connecting with small communities, things like that. It is a political march, but it's nonpartisan. Like anybody's welcome to join us that wants to be pro-democracy. It's a pro-democracy march essentially. But I've never seen the nation's capital. Like I've never been to Washington D.C. and I've never seen a lot of those buildings in that history. So I was like, yeah, I'll freaking sign up. So I've been signing up and I'm working on their food team and their social media team right now, helping with some of that stuff. So I'm so freaking excited.
That's great. Cool. That's very exciting. Yeah. That's so cool. I have so many questions though. When you say it's a week and a half march, you're like, where are you staying?
That's a great question. We actually stay in community centers and churches. The organizers have great relationships with like some of the churches along there. So we all like have sleeping bags and we stay in the churches and we stay in like community centers that have space.
That's a true adventure. That's a true adventure.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah, we've got we march about 15 miles a day is about like the goal, because there are some folks that are like way older that we have to pace ourselves each day, but we have like stopping points and there's a lot of potlucks on the road. I've been meeting the organizers and hanging out with them. We've got like a signal group set up. It's really cool, and I'm really excited for it. And when I first told like Taylor, my dad, and folks like that, it's been interesting to see their reactions. They're like, how long is it? 160 miles, you're gonna die. And I'm like, no, I've been doing Couch to 5K. I'm totally gonna be okay. So little did you know, Sean, your Couch to 5K share actually saved my life, because I would have totally died without it.
That covers 5 of like the 300K.
Right. Yeah.
How is Couch to 5K? Do you like it? Are you following like the app's instructions, or are you just doing your own thing?
I'm just doing my own thing. I followed it for the first 2 weeks, but then after that, I just realized I got in my own groove, and I know how to push myself a little bit further each time. So I've been just doing that, and it's good. It's definitely like it's a good way to exhaust myself, get my heart rate up, get good exercise in every other day or so. So it's been pretty good. I've definitely gotten a lot of value out of it.
Are you like pushing it? Are you doing runs? Are you doing like running and walking, or are you just walking?
I always end with runs. I always end with trying to fatigue myself with runs. So I mostly do walking because that's what I'm trying to prep myself for the march. But I do a little bit of running at the end of every single one, just to like really try and, burn as much energy and tear my muscles as much as possible. But it's been pretty good. Unfortunately, it's been snowing here crazily the last couple of days, and I haven't been able to go out. But finally, I'll be able to go out and resume some of my practice. But yeah, I thought I would tell y'all and just let y'all know I'm gonna be marching 160 freaking miles. So I'm pretty excited for it. And it's gonna be
awesome.
It's gonna be a little adventure for sure.
I assume Taylor's not going.
No, Taylor's not. Taylor's staying here with Benji. So I'm doing that stuff. But it'll be a week and a half. I fly out to Philly in April, and then I march with them for about a week and a half, and then I come back. So it'll be good. It'll be a fun time.
That's really cool. I can't wait for you to update us on that once it's over. You're gonna have like hours worth of stories from old people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be some people that I'm sure there'll be personalities there that drive me crazy too. But it'll be a solid mixed bag. But really, it's just an excuse for me to see the nation's capital. Like I've never read the Constitution cover to cover, and I don't know its history really well. So I'm treating it as mostly like an educational thing for me. I want to be able to, learn about democracy, at least while we have democracy, while we still have the right to vote.
Exists.
Yeah. Well, it still is.
It'll be great for a ton of reasons. It'll be great because you'll meet new people. It'll be great because you'll be doing loads of exercise. You'll just be outside a lot. in the wilderness.
Sounds awesome.
Sleeping in random places sounds yes. Sleeping in random places sounds quite fun, kind of fun actually. At least if you're doing it for a reason. So
yeah, it'll be fun. I'm mucho excited. I'll be sending all pictures of being like, look at this hard floor we slept on tonight. Here's my sleeping bag. Oh no, it'll be great.
Exciting stuff. Exciting.
All right, y'all want to turn our attention to the AI upscaling goon maxing of it all?
The elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is DLSS 5. So, literally yesterday, NVIDIA like randomly dropped this huge fucking news that DLSS 5 is going to be different to previous versions of DLSS, which am I correct, Peter, in that it's always just kind of been an AI upscaling technology? Up to 4.0, but DLSS 5.0 seems to. I'm not like 100% familiar on the technical specifications of how it works, but the general idea is that rather than, I assume there's upscaling and stuff like that involved as well, same old stuff, but also they are using like AI neural technology to sort of scan the images rendered on screen and enhance them with AI in motion, like live in game, which is so bizarre. It's so bizarre, and it's not. It's probably hard to understand what I mean without seeing it, so I'll throw up some pictures and shit, obviously. But I mean, it's kind of all over the internet. I'm sure everyone's seen it. Yeah, honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. Or at least I thought it, because the first example I ever saw was Grace from Resident Evil, kind of looking like normal Grace that we know and love on the left, and then like a strange sort of AI imposter looking person on the right who had like a slightly different looking face. It looked like she had like a ton of makeup on, to the point where it looked like it was just kind of a different style entirely, which was really, not only was it confusing, but that's also made it seemed kind of fake, because when I was thinking about DLSS, I was like, well, DLSS, like, why is DLSS doing this? And like, where is that from? Like, where did that new Grace come from? Like, how does that even work? Did someone make it, or is that just made by machine learning? And that's basically the whole discourse that spawned from this thing, because there's loads of examples out, mainly in like Hogwarts Legacy, loads of Starfield examples. Oblivion has some really funny ones, because that game has no right to look photorealistic. Oblivion has no right to look photorealistic, to the point where it's actually terrifying. Yeah, well, I mean, me and Peter might just rip each other's heads off over this, because we have some differing thoughts, but I mean, yeah, either of you want to tell me what you think?
Let it rip, Peter. Let it rip. Let's go. I want to hear about the 80s goon maxing filters. Let the 80s noir filters. Let's go.
Reddit absolutely hates it. It's kind of funny. They
so does Twitter.
Just they tear it all apart. And I'm trying to find some sort of discussion online about it, and it's impossible. It's just impossible to find someone who's legitimately discussing it and who isn't just like AI slop AI slop. And it's like
that's what
I'm seeing a lot of the early RTX thing where like when ray tracing, which is something that's been used in cinema for like since the 80s or something. It's like it's been in computer generation for a long time, but it's just been so resource intensive, and we're finally able to do it. And when ray tracing first came on, it was a meme. Like people were like, "Look at this! Like, what's the difference? I can't see the difference in the videos. Why am I having my frame rate so like this one shadow, 40 feet away looks slightly crisper? Like it's a waste of time." And early RTX really was pretty lame. Like very few titles support it. It was very limited. It was either just the shadows or just the reflections, or something really, really oddly specific. And then now we have like titles that are fully ray traced, and it looks amazing, and like people aren't shitting on it anymore. Like Requiem, yeah, it runs well, it looks great, and I feel like we're at that part of this technology now where it's like it's just come out, everything's just like prototype version, and people are like this is useless. This doesn't have a point. What are we gonna do? Who wants this? And I feel like the more advanced it's gonna get, the more we can see. I think a lot of it is this isn't trained. Well, I don't know the details of it, but a lot of these instances are like the games don't plan for it, so there isn't any specific training for like the game, which is why they're able to use it for Oblivion and random stuff like that. They just use the general default stuff, whereas if you trained it specifically on like the game, and instead of just pulling like replace old man with generic old man, and instead you use this character of an old man, like don't make it look like some woman. This is Grace, and then give them a like data of like this is who Grace actually looks like, instead of just here's a woman with blonde hair. I don't know, do the rest. So there's a lot of control you can have here. And then another one is like intensity is something that in AI when you have an image you start with, it's called image to image. When you start with an image and you want to change it to another image, there's like this denoising slider where if it's on 0, then you don't change the source image at all. Nothing happens. It's the same image. But if it's on 100, then it's just completely changed. And if it's on like 50, it's like somewhere in the middle. It kind of looks different, but it's still kind of... So I feel like that slider is kind of a bit too far on the right. Like they did too much creative. Like a lot of the comparisons I see, it's like there's too much new. They're adding too much to it. They don't have the below, So I feel like just turning it down a little, like these kind of previews would look a lot better. Because yeah, it's like people say if it's too different than the source, then obviously people are going to complain. There's a lot of stuff you can do about that.
That's my
no one cares
issue.
though. Yeah. No one cares about that. They just look at these images and go like, oh, it's crap, useless technology, never going to work, complete negative, don't want it anymore, take it out, we're done.
No, that's definitely not true, because the concept of just being able to in real time stream extremely high fidelity textures onto a game, and instead of making it more resource intensive, you could actually save resources by doing it this way. Then you just open the future to like basically a whole new level of fidelity, which is something that we haven't seen. We haven't seen for a long time.
Something that would probably that might even piss off some people more. But I remember reading about this technology like at least a year or two ago when they were first discussing it, because they'd been planning this for a while, but the hardware wasn't ready yet. They were talking about how games can the base game can purposely be really low quality, like really blurry, really chunky polygons, and then the end game, the after the DLSS 5, that could be the intended look for it. But the thing is, therefore you don't have to do all the AAA, like all the textures have a nice gloss and the lighting's all perfect and stuff. You can just make this really low quality looking game and then focus on fine tuning the end product so that it looks like you want it to look, right? Because right now it's the opposite of that. Like Capcom doesn't know what the fuck DLSS 5 is. Like they didn't plan for this shit, so they're probably just as disgusted by these images as these fans are that are like, that's not my Grace, because that's not the design intent, and that's what a lot of the discussion is about. Is like the designers didn't intend for the game to look like this, therefore it is not the game. But I'm saying, what if they did?
Well, they will, because I checked this just before we started recording, and I mean NVIDIA confirmed that like ray tracing, it's just going to be part of development. Like developers are going to do this themselves. Like it's not like NVIDIA come along and make it. It's it's made by
ray tracing is a good example, because like in a lot of games, like the developers will put in ray tracing, whereas when ray tracing came out, a lot of people were taking old games
and adding it
and putting ray tracing into it. And a lot of games, they looked amazing, and a lot of them looked like shit. It all depended on it, because like this is just something they weren't meant for, but at the same time, it was something that in the right hands, it could really like I remember, what was it, Quake?
Quake was one of the earliest games to have
3D games, and they put ray tracing on it, and just because it's lighting, everything just looked different. It was crazy. So for anyone skeptical about it, I'd say give it a bit, let it mature. We'll see what.
When we
comes
say
of
a
it.
bit, I mean like 4 years at least. Like, because that's how long it took for like ray tracing to catch on anyway. Longer, really longer for ray tracing. Ray tracing's been around
it took
forever.
a bit for ray tracing to be around.
Yeah.
But I mean, these things are also accelerating like faster. They're getting better faster. It's great. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 years we actually have a title where people are like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty impressive. But yeah, right now we're gonna have easily like the next year we're gonna have minimal amount of stuff that purposely takes advantage of it. So like, yeah, I think you're right. Like 3-4 years, we're gonna have a completely different, I remember when DLSS came out. Actually, now that I think about it, and all that it did is it upscaled, and it used neural networks to make
to fill in the
pixelated stuff look up to, and people hated it. They hated on it. They were doing the comparison images like, I can see differences in the outline of this fence, in the corner of the screen. And, they're talking about how like, oh, they're not real frames. They're fake frames. Get out of here with this DLSS. Like, there's a lot of hate about it.
I do think those two things, ray tracing and base DLSS, are different though. The only difference is the fact that DLSS is relating to resolution, which is something that is, it's not pertaining to art at all, really. Ray tracing is. Yeah. Ray tracing is, but ray tracing is only lighting. And I think that's something that people aren't protective over. Like, people aren't protective over the way lighting looks in the game. If anything, it's just a net positive to change it. Like, to make lighting look better is a net positive. That's why ray tracing looks so good, because it's objectively better, although it can be resource intensive.
It is better.
But this DLSS 5 is slightly different, because at least in the examples we've been given so far, it is actually changing the way the game looks. But I know that sounds like I'm talking about ray tracing, but you have to understand that what I mean is literally like Grace's face. And I know, but there are other examples that are fine, like the one behind Peter. Leon looks the same, but objectively higher quality in that picture. Like, he looks exactly the same.
I think, I like the Grace and the Leon images specifically that we're seeing, because they can show the difference between what it looks like when you're trying to take it into account. Like it almost like Leon's looks like when the developers go, okay, let's use this, let's just turn it on a little bit, let's just tweak it up, and once we start seeing the features go away, then we'll turn it back down. Like fine-tuning it. And then like Grace's looks like they just flipped the switch on.
They glitched it all,
and then just go, use the default options, whatever.
Yeah. It does. It does. It looks like an AI image, like fully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like a lot of AI stuff, there's going to be fluctuations between the angle and the lighting.
Yeah.
And the more intense the effect is, the more RNG you're going to get, and like how different it is, and especially since it's not trained on any specific model for anything that it's being used for right now. So from a technology perspective, it's wild that we're getting real-time renderings of AI anything. Like, just because this is something that like we used to wait like 3 seconds to render a blurry image of Shrek, on a trail cam like 5 years ago, and now it's doing this shit live, which is crazy. And we were just watching some meme earlier, some meme AI video, and like the video looks realistic.
It's perfect.
But the audio is still very, very far away. Like you can immediately tell the audio is AI, which is kind of funny, because like they still have
issues
a
with
lot
audio.
of work to get the audio. Whereas like it's literally like hard to tell that it's AI video until you look at it long enough. But yeah, it's very interesting to talk about, and I wish there was more discussion going about it rather than just people, cursing and name calling and stuff. And
I understand where it comes from, but it is a very nuanced topic. Like the comparison you made to ray tracing when it first announced is a good one, because in some ways it's similar, in some ways it isn't, but in some ways it is similar to the way that was treated back then. But another thing that I'm kind of curious about, because I already saw this a little bit, because in the videos, the previews of DLSS 5, there was a couple of shots of Grace, and in some of them, she actually looks different, like to the first one, which got me wondering, as well as other people in the replies, like, because we know that currently sort of like AI has issues with like consistency. Does that mean that the way things look, at least if the filter is high in terms of DLSS 5, does that mean that the way things look could fluctuate? Because that seems like it happened in the early
if it's high
already.
enough, it's high enough, it completely can. Like we're still seeing a lot of the consistency issues now. There's some models though that do wild consistency now. So
like the video we watched before, it was better than than at least something that you would have seen like a year ago. It's more consistent.
Yeah. So there are ways around it. Like we were watching the Harry Potter Balenciaga.
That's the one
video, and it's like and like it. I think part of that is like there are there's models out there that are just Daniel Radcliffe. Like this is the Daniel Radcliffe model. And if you combine that with a model for, general purpose stuff, then you can always get this consistent character every time. And I feel like if Capcom did this is a Leon model, this is what Leon looks like. If they did, like I said, going back to the custom stuff, like you can get as detailed as you want with this. And I feel like this is a pretty terrible introduction to this, just like turning it on and throwing it on this title that it wasn't made for. So like I feel like they could have let it cook a bit longer. They were just really anxious to get it out, especially with all the AI hype going on. Like but at the same time, from someone like me who's seen gameplay go from colored pixels on the screen to like lifelike video, like from a technology it's very impressive that it's happening. And I can see the potential, even though I'm looking at these images like, yeah, that's not good. You don't want that out there, right?
It would be very naive to act to act under the impression there's no potential here, because it definitely is. It's just I think the examples we've seen were bad.
you can have a terrible first impression and still be still have some potential. So that's my opinion on it. How about you?
My take is it's got to be something developers get on board with. Developers have to declare this is their artistic intent, because we have seen many times in the gaming industry, from Bluepoint remaking Demon's Souls to countless terrible remakes and remasters, gamers are super protective. They're super nostalgic and they're super protective of the games they love. And seeing someone else, some third party, come along and just go, good maxing filter, I don't think people will be happy with that. It has to be something developers themselves adopt. If they don't adopt it, I think it's going to be a really polarizing thing.
That I didn't realize I felt that way until I saw the edited Grace on DLSS 5, because as soon as I saw that, I felt a little bit like, but that's not right. Like that's not right. That's not what she looks like. That's really not like I just played that game. You can't just go ahead and change it. You can't change canon. Please don't change canon. I just played that game and I kind of like that character. So it's really weird.
I never played Last of Us, but I saw when they did the remake, what the character looked like before and after, and I'm like, that's not the same person.
That's how I felt with DLSS 5. So I didn't realize I was protective over the way the games look until then. That was the first big sign that I was like, they're gonna go through all these games like a checklist and just make everyone look different. I was like, that makes me kind of feel weird. I didn't realize that was gonna make me feel that way. But yeah, no, I definitely
very divisive.
Yeah.
One of the points that you brought up, Peter, that I love, that I think is such a great point, and I think it is really the harbinger of what's going to come in the industry, is that we will eventually get to a point where everyone has their own filter. Like someone wants the game to look noir style, someone wants it to be My Little Pony themed, someone wants it to look Goon maxed. And we are all going to be playing the same game, but very different experiences.
That's something I mentioned before. Like this is the default, no settings changed part. They just threw it on. They didn't customize it all. But literally, you could be like, I want this to look like what did I say? Like the old Resident Evil PlayStation style with the chunky graphics, and you could do that. Or you could be like, I want Leon to look, more like my dad, or something
right?
Or you could change it to be like everyone's underwater, Like you
Right,
could you could literally just like pull something out let's put them in a forest instead.
That's a really good point, actually. I didn't think about that side of the
Yeah.
potential. Theoretically, there's nothing to stop you from just doing anything. Like, it could just make Leon into me.
Right. You could just whatever, whatever you can think of. Like the city is now a post-apocalyptic, and it's covered with vines and decay and stuff.
We're gonna have a Harry Potter filter where every game you play is just Harry Potter and those characters. It's like I play Resident Evil with the
really
Harry Potter
I feel like modders are really gonna push this to another level where they're gonna be able to be it's literally like a layer on top of the game. So you just make like a base model for something, that doesn't even look that great, and then you just throw the filter on top of it, and now it looks like it, right? So it's like I said, the potential's there just to be able to change and like you said, trying to find something that improves the default is kind of like, oh, here's a picture I drew, let me improve that for you. That's a very no in the art community. You don't take someone else's picture and you improve it. But at the same time, if you go, oh, I took your picture and it's now, instead of a sci-fi, it's fantasy, check it out, and they'd be like, hey, that is kind of cool, I see a lot more of that happening.
Yeah.
The personalization.
Yeah, my brain.
It's gonna be crazy.
That side of it is almost, oh my god, that's so fucked. Because in terms of the future of games, people were thinking I think most people were just thinking okay, VR, AR, maybe super realistic graphics. But the future of games looks more like it's actually just going to be basically completely customizable to the point where actually multiple people have different experiences with the same game. The future has a way of surprising us with things like that, because it's never something we expect. Like for example, the huge AI, asking ChatGPT, asking Grok questions and shit, and just getting replies at the top of Google from AI, and using AI images for family photos and stuff. I don't think anyone predicted that 10 years ago. The future has a really weird way of it's never what we think it's going to be. And I feel like that might be the same for games, where instead of AR and VR exploding, it's just going to be the fact that everyone can play a game in a different way.
Yeah, the VR to gaming is like flying cars. It's 20, 30 years ago, we're going to be flying cars in the future. And here it's no, we're not. I think VR is the same thing. We're going to have these headsets and we're going to be in our games. And it's yeah, VR
it actually falls into a niche.
Yeah. Just like flying cars actually do exist, but they're very niche.
They're just not practical. And it's a similar situation.
Yeah,
where
very similar situation.
What is practical is to have a game. What is practical is to have a game that you sit down playing, but because of something that's very realistically achievable, an AI filter, because NVIDIA literally just did it yesterday. But instead, just change the prompt. Literally just change the prompt. Just change the base prompt to something, to whatever you want it to be. If it's AI, then we know from the videos we fucking watch, the kind of stuff that AI can come up with. Oh god.
Yeah.
It's such a weird future, and again, no one ever would have expected it. It's such a just catches everyone by surprise. The smartest people in the world.
That's what I think when I think about this stuff. I'm like, wow, man, that just opens the door for stuff. And then a lot of people they just can't even picture that. They just see slop and they don't even think a second more about it.
It's also overwhelming. When we laugh at boomers for not understanding VR and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that might overwhelm me on that level. Having a fully customizable game that's different for everyone, that might turn me into a boomer. That sounds ridiculous. So I didn't think it was possible for me to be a boomer, but this sounds like we are actually going that way, because maybe it is true that it is just a cycle of generations, and how things catch up with us. It's true. That's going to blow my head off. I'm going to be too old and too not interested enough to keep up with that. I can definitely feel that happening. Yeah.
You will be telling your children, Sean, back in my day, everyone played the same video game. I didn't have a My Little Pony filter or a cartoon filter. You will be saying that, yeah.
Oh no,
And we gooned over the source characters, not the AI ones.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Please no.
Grandpa, more gooning stories.
Let me tell you about Ada Wong.
Here's what Mortal Kombat looked like. Oh.
Some people still played Overwatch back then. Before they knew. They knew where the characters came from.
Before Overwatch 2 became Overwatch 1 again, and 3, and then 1 again. And
oh God!
What is this timeline, man? What is this? What politically America's about to become a dictatorship? Our gaming is just spiraling into goon maxing. Like, what is this timeline? This is a very weird timeline for sure.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, on a serious note, that is fucking frightening. Literally, that sentence Clyde said, it's 100% going to be true. I'm going to be saying, back in my day, we all played the same game. Like, we're going to have 100%. Customizable game. Give it like 10 years, we'll have customizable games. The technology exists already.
We might say that about shows eventually, too.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously. I'll imagine like Netflix has settings, like for themes. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could. I mean,
crazy.
It's gonna be wild, man. Like you said, we can't even predict where it's gonna go.
No, you never can. It always catches you off. It always does. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think a great analogy. There's a great analogy to this, which is like, especially in Peter and in our like lifetime, we saw cell phones go from being the same old blocky piece of hardware, and now cell phones are totally unique. Like, everyone has their own experience on their cell phone. Like my home screen looks absolutely nothing like your home screen, right? Like they're all completely different. Every phone is completely different. So I think personalization and customization is like, I think it's a natural, like when technology gets to a certain point, users don't want the same experience. They want their own special curated experience. And we've seen that in technology. I'm sure we'll see it in gaming. I'm sure we'll see it in TV shows. Man, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy to see. When we start getting close to that precipice, I'm gonna put it to y'all, and I'm wondering what the first filter you're gonna install is. I'm curious what is the first filter you'll be installing. You don't have to answer today.
I can't say. It's not safe for what. I'm literally kidding. I'm literally kidding. I wouldn't do that, because I'd be one of those boomers who was like, I want to play the source material, and then people will laugh at me, like all the kids will run around pointing and laughing at me for saying that. That's how I could see myself being in the future.
That's true.
A conservative for game art, probably.
It's going to be interesting. I really hope developers get on board, though, because that's when we will really see magic, as developers using this technology well, rather than just people throwing their My Little Pony slop all over it. I mean, that's cool if they want that and that gives them a better experience. I'm happy for them, but the real magic for me will be when developers embrace this. I think that'll be awesome.
At some point, some developers is going to say DLSS required to play this game.
Right.
And it's going to be the intended effect for it. And then all these people who are like, not the intended effect, slop useless, they'll like, okay, now what? So
100%.
Yeah.
It'll be strange times ahead.
Anyway, yes, almost ready to wrap up. Just a couple of little things that we might want to talk about before we go. Well, we've still got a few minutes left. Clyde, you said you had a story about teaching boomers how to use social media.
Speaking of boomers. Right?
Oh my God. Yes. Speaking of boomers, okay, so y'all know I'm pretty politically active. One of the things that Taylor and I do is we host people at our place every now and then to help teach them social media, to help them promote their events. We've got people who do postcard writing, and we've got people who do like whistle making kits and stuff like that. And they don't really know how to promote their events on social media, like posting it to their friends and family. So I want to like do something simple and show them like how to do that, right? So the other day I had like 6 or 7 people over, and I showed them 2 examples of posts. And one was like a very simple ad for an event being like, come be here at this time at this hour, but it had no photos on it, no nothing. It was just kind of a sketchy looking ad. And then the other one was like a photo of a community of people out marching or something with like the details of the event. And I was like, which one of these if you were a random person scrolling, which one would you be more likely to click on? And the group unanimously they said the one that I was not expecting them to say. They said, we like the one with no people on it, just the sketchy one with with just the directions. And I was like, really? If you just saw like a message on Facebook saying, be here at this time at this location, you would just go to that? Like, and they were like, yeah. And I was like, why don't you like the one with the people? Like, the one with the people seems more welcoming to me. And this is where the quote comes from. They said, but what if the faces go away? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? That was my Peter's face.
What?
Yeah, Peter, yeah. I was like, I don't understand what you mean. That like the faces though, they won't be there forever. What if they go away? And I'm like, this is social media, mean? Y'all. Like, yeah, fuck? I know. I tried to dig in, but after like a couple minutes of just
wait, so you did? So you didn't figure out what they meant?
Eventually,
I need to know.
They eventually explained that they were like, what if we go to the event and they're not there? And I'm like, okay, like not everyone in every ad is it ever like, do you watch a Verizon store ad and think that the lady is going to be at the Verizon store?
These are the people who see the stock images for like a business when they go there. And then when they go and they see the barista, it's like, you're not the lady from the photo.
yeah. I'm like, I promise you, not all these people will be there, but having a welcoming face, like human beings like seeing faces in media. That's why we give us something to connect with, give us a human being to like engage with and, you know, determine ally or enemy. But like, it was one of those sessions where I'm just like, I'm trying to teach them how to take selfies and post their events. And let's just say it didn't go well, but I do applaud them trying. I appreciate that they're trying, but man, oh man. I've come to this conclusion, okay? And y'all can fact check me on this. I think young people taught ourselves how to use social media. We taught ourselves. No one taught us. No one taught us how to use Facebook or Twitter or Reddit. We taught ourselves how we use these things. But people that are of a certain vintage, I will say, they never taught themselves that. They never taught themselves the rules of how these places work. They never taught themselves how to engage with these platforms. So trying to teach them our ways is like, it's just very difficult. And I'm like trying to explain like, one of these is way sketchier than the other, and they're like, "But the faces will go away."
The faces will go away. I like how you said they eventually told you what they mean, because I just picture you like they're trying to change topic, and you're like, but what did you mean? Like, Clyde's torturing them, interrogating them. What do you mean the faces disappear? I would also be the same.
That sounds like the reveal scene of a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's just like
faces disappear.
What about when the faces go away? And you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, he doesn't know about when the faces go away.
I know, like, yeah. This is to say, someday, not too far from now, y'all, young people will teach us how to use their social media, and we will have to pay attention, and we will have to go, you know what? I guess this is how we goon max now. Thanks for showing me the new filter.
I heard young people are actually worse at using computers now because everything is so user friendly that they don't have any knowledge about like file structures and folders and stuff.
Oh no!
Like the nitty-gritty part of computers, like the stuff that we learned the hard way, like how to fix errors and bugs and stuff. Like, remember when something would break and we'd try to figure out what's wrong, but like now it's just if it breaks, either just you re-download it or you just buy another one. Like a lot of that tinkering and like figuring out and nitty-gritty stuff is lost.
Not gonna lie,
the newer generation. Yeah.
Most of my knowledge, at least on like PC, in terms like software, like being on the PC, navigating files and stuff, and knowing how to just do like basic software maintenance, comes from like playing Minecraft when I was 9. I'm
video
not
games.
Even lying, because I had to. Because back in the day, it wasn't straightforward.
90% of my knowledge about computers is just trying to figure out how to get games to run or run better.
Yes, like, exactly.
Yeah. And like, and I got a boomer story for you to cap it off with. I remember when I was working tech support, and to this day, I can't tell if it was actually true or if it was like some supervisor who was trolling me from the back rooms with a group of people laughing around him. But I got this old man. And I was trying to help him, troubleshoot his network issues, and he was explaining to me about his concept of a firewall was like a brick wall, but each of the brick was made out of cookies, and I was just like, "What?"
Wait, what?
And then I'm trying to get him to click the start button, and he doesn't know where the taskbar is. And I'm like, the taskbar is the bottom part of your screen. And he goes, oh, you mean the crust?
Oh my god!
Wait, what's happening?
And it took me a couple seconds to be like, the crust? What? He's like, yeah, the crust of the screen. I'm like, yeah,
that's right, sir. Now click on those chocolate chips. Let's go.
That was very what if the faces go away of my
that
time,
sounds like that sounds like his kids have taught him PC in like food language because he's fat.
Oh my god!
Like because he's fat, they were like, "Look, Dad, you like pizza, right? So this is the crust. The screen, that's the cheese. The desktop apps, they're the pepperoni."
Oh wow,
that's it. Yeah, I'm like, listen, the firewall.
So it's clicking.
Picture a firewall like bricks, and the things that go in are cookies, like the cookie jar.
Oh, you don't want cookies? Yeah, they're delicious.
You don't want a burglar.
Each site gives you one.
You don't want a burglar to go in the cookie jar. That would be bad.
Oh god,
they're your cookies.
I think that might be
point, Peter. I agree. I think people are more and more like the young people specifically. Some of them lack the skills to like troubleshoot things on their own, but also AI is making this problem worse. Like AI is doing even more for people. So they're like, Siri, just fix this thing for me, or Cortana, just fix this thing for me. And I'm sure ChatGPT is like that, but sometimes they're very wrong. Sometimes those things are super wrong. So it's like, oh man, there's gonna be some interesting boomer and zoomer talks, I think, going into the future of like, here's what a firewall is. Here's how your computer folder structure is set up. Like, oh grief.
Yeah, man.
Crazy times.
What if the faces go away? Man, that's now every time I see somebody on Facebook, I'm like, but what if the faces go away? Like, what if
I had a filter right now that I could flick on and my face would go away, I'd turn it on so fast. I wouldn't say a word. I just wait for Clyde just to absolutely have a meltdown.
That sounds like Clyde, like Peter said. That sounds like Clyde is the main character in the horror movie, and he's with these old people.
No.
He's with these old people that are like subtly creepy, but they're kind of normal. And then at one point they just snap and they're like, "Wait till the faces disappear."
Wait till the faces go away.
Your
face will go away too. All of our faces.
I did actually. There was a moment yesterday or a couple days ago where Taylor and we got scared the shit out of us. Like an old person in a window scared the shit out of us. I'm not trying to be mean to old people. I love old people.
Wait.
We were out. No, dude, we were
in a horror movie.
We were walking our dog, and like I was like our dog went to like do his his potty, and I bet like as I was going to pick it up, I looked over. This is not a joke. This is not a lie. I looked over and I saw there was like a two-story house. And there was a creepy ass old man staring in the window at us, like just frozen there. And I was like, and I had Taylor look at him, and Taylor's like, and we both looked at him. And then like I looked away, Taylor looked away, I picked out the thing. And when we looked back, he was gone. The dude was just gone. The window was empty. And I was like,
my God.
It was like like it was definitely a freaky moment.
Clyde, are you not concerned about your life?
No, please.
Oh my God.
Let me be the guy that gets killed in the first act. Kill me quickly. I don't want to go through 15 horror jump scares. Just kill me quickly. Like I don't need to be the survivor.
I love thinking about it from the old man's perspective, where he's just walking through his kitchen. He looks through a window. He sees someone picking up dog poop, and he's like, "Whatever. I'm gonna go grab my tea." He just continues on his day. Meanwhile, Clyde, absolutely a wreck.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's just minding his own business. He happens to coincidentally look out the window at the same time Clyde's looking. But then he sees Clyde go, oh.
Yeah.
Taylor thinks was the one who was grossed out.
Taylor's hypothesis is that he was like, he wanted us to pick up the poo and not leave it. So he was like staring there intensely to like make sure we picked it up. But like,
wait, but where was the poo?
It was like across the street on his like neighbor's lawn. We were like across the street on like a lawn.
Oh, maybe then.
So it was like him being like, "You better pick that poo up." Yeah. But it was needless to say, I definitely got freaked out. I was like, "Oh dang!" He just kind of ran away quickly.
What if he reappeared, but his face was gone?
Oh, Please no.
This is where
Please,
Clyde
no.
couldn't hear it, but he was murmuring, "The faces disappear. The faces disappear.
The faces are gone. The faces are gone.
Good
I
God.
picked up the shit, but the face was still there.
Oh my god, Clyde's gonna have nightmares.
Hashtag bullying. Hashtag fucking bullying. What's going on here? All right. It's been real, y'all. I've got to go. I've got some errands.
Yeah,
to do.
we're all good to wrap
right.
up. That was pretty funny. Thank you for that story.
Y'all are the best. Y'all are the best, though.
Okay.
Have a great freaking rest of your day. I'll report back on Crimson Desert. Maybe we'll all be playing Crimson Desert. I don't know.
At least
Curious
one
to
of
see.
us, surely. I
need to watch more videos.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't jump into anything without seeing a lot of.
Oh well, I'm sure
this is something that's sketchier than average. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you both, gentlemen, for your time, and I'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
GG's, boys.